Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the IDRiM podcast. This week, we're continuing with last week's episode of the podcast where we speak with the U-INSPIRE Indonesia group about the cyclone that impacted their country in November of 2025. We hope you enjoy today's episode.
Now, looking at this crisis, and you mentioned that how the local government is not prepared at all, given the monetary budgets and as well as the limited knowledge that they have. How the national government react to this? Do the national government taking over all this disaster? Because like from what we know, the Indonesian's national disaster system is basically the responsibility shift given the scale of the impacts. Look at the potential impact will be greater as well in the near futures. Should the national government already do their best to accommodate this and prevent cascading disaster after this, or what's the situation there?
Maybe given the fact that how slow the government respond to this, we can see how the national government actually do for this disaster, like how because we know that even after 2 weeks of this disaster, there are still a lot of missing people and still a lot of people isolated and do not get the aids from the government. So I think from my point of view itself, the government can do more actually, even to prevent this that can happen in the future. At least the government can do more, not just doing the emergency response, but they can also improve their disaster risk reduction and preparedness and etc. So because we know that there might be cyclone happen again in the future, maybe in another area, and we know that geographically we are living with the natural hazards around us, so there should be an improvement made by the government. But currently, as we know that the government seems very slow to give the response, even though they have tried to do their best, especially during the first 3 days. We know that there are a lot of aids coming from the Air Force because they are the ones who can operate like the helicopter, etc., to distribute the aids. But from the other government itself, we can see that even now they are still trying to go to the isolated area and they are still trying to fix the roads or fix the bridges. So yeah, I think the government can do more, but maybe Rio, Oka, or Iwan would like to add from your point of view as well.
Yeah, given the condition, there's 7, what we call it, bupati in English. There's
like mayor, like
yeah,
similar to mayor.
above
Mayor, yeah.
above the mayor, I think. Yeah, actually, there are several governments stated that they gave up about the situation. They already sending letters to the national government, to the president, I think, about the current condition, and that's why the aid is coming from the national level because of this how big the impact from those flood in several locations in Sumatra. But then when the national took over, there are several, like you says, the response from the national government is not quick enough from our point of view, from my point of view, because they should have been they could mobilize quickly from what we know in Jakarta, or at least from our national capacity, that we still have, several resources that could be deployed quickly, but um, I don't know what happened in the government. There's so much speculation that I wouldn't go there, but actually, yeah, the response is not quick enough. Um, at least they could reach from what they could uh, help at first. About the uh, several area that may have been cut off. Yes, the helicopter reached them, but there's another dilemma because the helicopter couldn't land uh, because of the buildings there is not strong enough to withstand the helicopter's effect. So they quote unquote airdrop the aid from above. But then when the help is uh, getting to the local communities there, the local communities there is sort of disappointed because the aid that they throw from above it's broken. Another, I don't know, this sort of SOP that maybe would have been, you know, would have been great if they have a plan. It's like they just responded to some, I don't know, some issues from the ground, and then they quickly responded, but they didn't think about the effect. So yeah, there's so many things that happen in local area that not highlighted by the national news, but we still found it on the social media. I mean, this thing is interesting because let's say they wanted to help the citizen, but yeah, they didn't think about the effect. That's another irony that we have in the field.
Yeah, maybe the national government still didn't decided the or take over uh, the situation, and the local government like in the city level or governor level uh, still applied the response time. Some city ended the response until tomorrow, but maybe based on our known or investigation in the social media, the area is still a lot of mud there, and actually maybe the mayor of city or the governor will extend until like 2 weeks or more based on the regulation, the local regulation that they had. But the national government, even though they didn't uh, declare that the situation is in the national level, but a lot of the ministry uh, move and tackle to that situation, such as the Ministry of Work investigating and uh, and make it the bridge, the not permanent bridge to join the transportation. But I don't know. I don't understand and didn't see the national government will take it in near future time. But the local government still will be extend the response time. The response time uh, decreed by the local government will affect to everything there, like school, and then the public service, and everything under the local government will be not normal.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about governments, and I'm going to move on to the big issue that has been made around this, disaster. And this is government decisions about how the land is being used. So environmental groups have blamed a lot of the floods on deforestation. So just going through some of the numbers that I've, managed to find. In Aceh, North Sumatra, West Sumatra, 1.4 million hectares of forestry has been lost between 2016 and 2024. In Aceh, the average loss for the last 20 years is between 0.5% and 1% of the forest area each year. 87% of that is used predominantly for agriculture, in particularly for palm oil forestation. In your opinion, how much do you think the deforestation has contributed towards making this disaster much more worse than it could have been?
Okay, yeah. I think this is my opinion because the land use change. This is the first factor, I think, making the hazard more worse, because we can see the product from the flood. We have the mud flood, mud everywhere, and we have also the waters after the flood situation. And like I said before, the water basin or water seat actually decrease because the land use change from the forest to to the another use. It's making the water seats can not enough, and we can take case like in the Batang Toru water seats. In another part, we have a land use change because the mining activity, and in the north part, we have another issues by land use change by the hydropower activity, and this situation making the water seats not enough to accommodate the flow of the waters like this. And we can see the timber, we can see the wood that floated in the river, and also in the beach area or in the seas area. It's a very worse because the wood I see in the videos, the flow from the wood make houses, make a bridge collapse because forced by the woods, by the mud, and of course the waters. I think the land use change is the first factor that make this disaster more making worse. Maybe anyone can have.
So it's actually the big problem of deforestations that make everything worse right now. And as Mark mentions about how the progression of deforestation is become bigger and bigger in the recent years. And this deforestation is actually coming from the illegal logging, is coming from illegally, or it's actually there are some actually permitted by the government. Is there any like industries actually operating there very long time and under the government radars, or with permission of the government to do this deforestations?
But
So
I think based on the video or information that we got in here, there is some log have a register number by the some of government authority. I think I'm not sure. This is just my opinion based on that information and the video that the log come from the legal legal consensus or something like that. But maybe not the other logging it's coming from any another source. But as the videos and information spread, some logging identify that has a register number in log. That's my opinion. Maybe the other has another.
Yeah, basically if you said that it has permit or it's under the government radar, basically yes. Most of the activity there is it's legal, but um what we didn't know is how big is the operation, because as you can saw in the social media how old is the tree are being transported to the city from the forest. There's some indication that they didn't didn't choose which trees has to be cut off, and then other than the logging activities, there's also other mining such as gold, and then there are palm plantation that worsen the the capacity of the forest to sponge to be a sponge from the the rain, if the rain is pouring hard. And then all of this effect has become multiplied. And then some of the news stated that yeah, as you may know it, the government always covers everything. So basically what happens on the ground, um, maybe some national or not national, local NGOs that has become the watchdog has more of actual data on what's happening on the ground. But actually, from what we saw on the outside, what happened there is, maybe worse than what happened in Amazon. I think. I mean, it's worse. Yeah.
Maybe I can little bit added some information. Yeah, we can say it because bad policy made by our government, because uh, they don't know how to maintain our ecological area like in the Sumatra. So yeah, this is a part of the policy. So why, like Bang Rio said before, this hazard is very systemic, just not about the extreme climate, but also bad policy we made before, and now we know the consequence about how the policy making the disaster more worse. This is from my opinion.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in here and actually say that deforestation isn't an issue that is brand new. This issue about the debate of deforestation with Indonesia is it's a long running issue, and so these are some information from some colleagues of mine at the Yale program on climate change communication. So They did a survey back in June, July of 2021, which talked about the perceived risks of deforestation across, and this was asked across all 34 provinces of Indonesia. 78% actually said they were worried about, deforestation in the country, of which the top three worries that deforestation was going to do it to the communities. 71% said floods, 68% said landslides, and 46% said loss of water resources. So basically, all the things we've talked about so far are the top three things that people in Indonesia were worried about before this event happened.
Thanks for the fact, Mark. It's like very bad things to bring, but that's the thing that we should acknowledge. Now we know that it's all happenings with this. In your opinions, basically, how to recover from this kind of disasters, given the state of deforestations, and now based on the survey that Mark have, Indonesian people actually has the concerns what happenings with their environment. What do you think, in your opinion, as you and me as well as Indonesians look at these bad conditions in order to at least avoid and prevent or reduce the risk of the similar disaster occurring again? Maybe not in Sumatra, but it can happening as well in perhaps in Java with many more people there, or even like in the more remote areas in like Eastern Indonesia. What do you think? What kind of approach and effort that we can make to actually reduce the impact and the risk for repeating this kind of disaster, given the state of deforestations and the concerns from Indonesia itself?
I believe awareness raising and understanding risk is the most important thing. But given the fact that this floods and landslide already such a wake-up call for Indonesia, especially because from this huge and devastating events, we know that a lot of people are now more aware about the importance of managing the land use and avoiding the increasing of deforestation, etc. So I think that's what we can do after people start to aware and they start to understand the risk. And the more important thing is the change from the government itself on how they can evaluate the current policies, and they can see the gaps that are missing or that are not working, or even make the disaster even worse. And then they should change and improve the government, especially the policy, to be more focusing in protecting our ecology, protecting the people, not just focusing in the business aspects, for example, because I know that there are a lot of policy that are heavy in the other side, but they are acting bad for the environment. So in my opinion, after we build the awareness and we bring the risk analysis, the government should also take the role to change the policy. Even they can change the regulation or the guidelines, and also improve the capacity, not to just responding to disaster, but also focusing in the pre-disaster efforts. So reflecting from this floods and landslide in Sumatra, I think the government can do the risk analysis for other area which has the same potential natural hazards that could happen. With the existing data, they can collaborate with other ministries who has different data, so they can get more view of how the potential risks that could happen in the area, what are the potential loss, and now they can manage the risk by doing A, B, C, etc., by giving budget for A, B, C, improving budget for communities, not just for for the government, but also for the communities, for the academia, and etc. So in my opinion, there should be a change, not just for the government, but also for the community on how we can similarly protecting the environment together. Because as we know, yeah, we are living side by side with these natural hazards, but we can see that we can reduce the risk even though we cannot predict the natural hazard that could happen in our area. Maybe Oka, Iwan, and Rio would like to add.
Okay. From my opinion, this is like systemic. Just like I couldn't rephrase about what could I say about this? The government, they hate mitigation. They hate prevention. I mean, in top level, in the leader, they really hate the prevention. What they need is, I don't know, maybe this is what they need. I mean, this is so-called uh what's it called? This is what they need about the tragedy, because when we talk about a plan for mitigation, for prevention, for disaster risk reduction, it's like we are talking to the wall, because the leader, at the leader level, this such thing as prevention is like we were talking about the bogus investment, because they didn't think that as um, a product that they can be seen at first, because it's an investment, is a long time uh, investment. They maybe when we're talking about the data, about the observation and something like that, because we were talking about more comprehensive research. They just want to see an actual product that can be shown in maybe next month, maybe next week, because yeah, I don't think uh, and also I don't think we can recover from this if we still thinking about the what's it called, disaster management in uh integrated level. But I agree with Gio. The changes is not only in government level. We need to trigger some changes in community level, because maybe with some what's it called, when we try to decentralize the knowledge, decentralize the warning in local level, maybe we can prevent some losses, either that is economical or maybe lives, because decentralization in local level, I think it's one of the solution that maybe work nowadays. I don't know about Oka or Iwan.
Yeah, but I think the situation is like wake up call for us to remanage and doing more research about the uh, extreme event, maybe in this time of climate change. So everything happen in Indonesia or in the world, that extreme thing like this event. And maybe based on that situation, the government should be the national government, national level should be readdress the policy about the mitigation, and not only focusing on the response. and I agree with Mas Rio and also Gio. We should make the local people, the local community, the youth like us to improve the preparedness and also the knowledge of the preparedness, and also maybe local government should support the local community, the local youth to make an experiment or to make an innovation based on the local that they has, like early warning system, or like we know some local NGOs in our near areas that really prepare to against the extreme weather, especially for the flash flood, and also U-INSPIRE ID has a good communication with them, and we learn from them that the preparedness will be really nice if it develop locally.
Mm.
And maybe Oka
Yeah.
or Gio
Mm.
can add something.
Yeah, I want to push or encourage in the community perspective. The first I heard like the term of the local knowledge like Galodo, or yeah, Galodo. This is the term of local knowledge about the flash flood
Flash flood.
in the in the Sumatra. Yeah, we need to push this terminology or local knowledge yeah, to adapt uh, our disaster, because we have opportunity to combine the local knowledge with the like the early warning system if we develop it, and this is can use more to this in situation in the futures. And if we see we have a lot of needs like food in this response situation, so why we don't research about or promoting the local food itself, like maybe some local food can use in several area, like in Indonesia, like archipelago area. So we have another local food that we can meet in the response situation or in the hazard situation to supply for the response of survival in this situation. So why we need to push the research, yeah, prevention itself, of course. I think we need we need to push for the better response, because yeah, I think we have a lot anomaly in the futures, the climate anomaly, like we discussed like this.
Okay, so what I wanted to do now, and we've talked about this, about government's response to this, and this is the last question for myself, and I very much wanted to touch upon trust in government. So what I just wanted to get a feeling is, has this disaster affected the community's trust in both their local and national government? And are people becoming more openly angry at the government because of any perceived lack of failings?
Maybe I can first answer this, because yeah, the last September, like my area in Bali affected also by the flood, and after Bali, we have also Sumatra. I think we very tired of the situation and the response from the government. I think it's not enough to make our community calm, and yeah, uh, the community need the good information, need sympathetic from our politician, our government. in this hard situation. Yeah, I think it's very important to us after this of the all situation happened from September until now. Okay, maybe anyone can answer also.
Yeah. I basically some of our colleagues are already on the ground. From what we know, they still cut out from the information about what are the government statement, and then what are the uh, instruction that have been stated by the government. But again, um, they just ask the official to push how to quickly distribute the aid, and mostly food, because like what we talked earlier, they just suffer from the hunger, and then basic needs are are getting low. And then the problem with the uh, citizens in Indonesia, they responded quickly from what they saw in social media. So there's have been a compilation about the government statements that not being so quote unquote empathic. There's so many statements that make our Indonesian citizen is angry about that. I mean, um, from the timeline at the first response until now, I don't know, maybe we saw more than 10 government official that have a statement without empathy, and then they act like the disaster as their moment of heroism. And then there's only making the most Indonesian citizen angry. But I don't know about the locals because they still cut out from the electricity. But yeah, what I know is they just hoping that the aid is can be provided or mobilized quickly.
All right, it's been quite broad our discussion. It's most of them is some of them is actually very rich information that we can share to our listeners all around the world. Now, as last questions and to close as well for this podcast, I want to ask any of you or each of you, you can answer, four of you can answer as well, which is if you have an opportunity to speak to the decision maker in Indonesia, or to tell international listeners that we have about the Indonesian condition in Indonesia right now, what will you tell them?
I think I will go first. So based on my perspective, yeah, this phenomena or this tragedy, it's a call for us to remanage uh, the the government, especially in the national level, to remanage the instrument, or to make a strength of research for the like heavy rain or something like that, and also uh, for international community. I think the research collaboration will be important in this day we facing the climate change and a lot of extreme weather come up to Indonesia area, and a lot of natural disaster happen, and also the government should be make it more clear about the regulation or the law to manage the forestation or everything that will be connect to the natural disaster such as flood, uh, landslide, and anything that the occurrence is really frequent in Indonesia, or passing like more than 10 years ago. And for the local community, for the youth, we hope we can make it more stronger for the disaster preparedness, and make a lot of innovation regarding to the local community needed. Yeah, I think that from me, and this the other.
Yeah, I have a short comment maybe. Yeah, this is the question related to the what we can say to the government. Yeah. This is short, but I think it's enough for me. Yeah, you need to check in the field before you making a statement, please. And your presence in this situation is a lot of them. It's a means to them, and of course, you need to listen the researchers and then apply their input to the policy. So I think, thank you.
I want to say that disasters are not natural. So it happens because of the human choices that can improve the vulnerabilities and etc. So when we understand about this, so it's better to invest more in the pre-disaster efforts such as risk reduction, mitigation, and preparedness rather than focusing on emergency response and recovery. So that would save much more life, not just human, but also the environment. That's all from me. Thank you.
I might add that data save lives, uh, because we could learn so many things from the historical data. But the problem is, government didn't give access to the historical data, so we could only store the real-time dashboard. So in 2025, there's so many disaster happen, and then because lack of, just like the other said, the policy and the management of the governance of the locals, it may be triggering some angry local communities. The question, I not giving a final statement, but I'm asking to the international communities, how could we help the local communities to be more resilient with their knowledge of the local wisdom, and with the help of low cost technology, what innovation can they create, what kind of tools they can have to make them be more ready. We don't need, what's it called? We don't need maybe a bigger or a branded equipment. We just need assistance from international communities, maybe. So we can exchange what can we learn about each other, and maybe we can build something that actually save lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much for 4 of you who already who spare your time to come here and tell the stories that what's happening in Indonesia, especially on Sumatra disasters. So hopefully everything will get better after this and no more casualties, although it will be unlikely to have that. And hopefully all our listeners also can hear and open their eyes of the situation in Indonesia right now and help as much as they can in order to make the situation better in the near futures. So that's it, everyone. Thank you for listening, and also thank you for 4 of our guests from U-INSPIRE Indonesia's that they give us big helps to reporting what's the situation in Indonesia right now. Thank you, Gio. Thank you, Rio. Thank you, Oka, and thank you, Iwan. And see you next time.